End of an era for Tiki's Giants. Eli to the bench. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, well, no, this is it's not unexpected. It's big news in a lot of places, but to me, you knew this was going to happen at some point. It was just a matter of when, and now it's a matter for the Giants of managing the messaging here and what the plan is going forward. But let me back up 15 years ago when this all started with Eli Manning. Obviously, I was a part of that 2004 team. And before the season, we know how it all came down. Kerry Collins, who had taken the Giants to a Super Bowl, we lost, unfortunately, to the Ravens in very bad fashion. But he was still our guy. Kerry Collins felt like the quarterback to take us into the near future. Not the long future, because he's a little bit older, but in the near future. But Ernie Accorsi, the Giants general manager, had a plan to reset, not dissimilar to how the Giants and Dave Gettleman, their current general manager, have a plan to reset. That plan involves drafting a quarterback. Back then, it was Eli Manning. Right now, it was Daniel Jones. And it sucks, no matter how you look at it, when a guy who the locker room has an affinity for is starting to get pushed out, it sucks because you know it's inevitable. You know at some point during that season that this young player, because they don't let quarterbacks like chill anymore. They don't let them wait for 2 years like Aaron Rodgers and some of the others over the course of the history of the National Football League. They don't let them wait anymore. They push them onto the field because learning in the real realm, in the actual arena, is the best way for them to grow. So I look at this situation. It mirrors in a lot of ways what happened with Eli back in 2004, and it comes full circle. It's just the nature of this sport. Nobody plays forever, except unless you're Tom Brady. Nobody is effective forever. And at some point, you make the decision to go forward, and that's what the Giants are doing. And so while it's getting blown up like this is so unexpected and the Giants don't have a plan, yes, they do have a plan. But I think what they've realized is that their defense is horrendous. They're only 23rd. I thought they were worse than this in the National Football League, but the 23rd ranked defense in the National Football League, and the prospects of competing for the division and going to the playoffs are diminishing by the day. Let's get this young kid some opportunities to be under center and learn something in real time. Eli knew this. The Giants knew this. Any discerning fan knew this. And any analyst who's worth his weight, like myself, knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of when.
You think they approach him and gauge his interest in a trade? Do you think he still wants to play?
Maybe, but I don't see it playing out that way. Now, the comps aren't easy, except for, interestingly, his brother, a guy who spent the entirety of his career at one place, became iconic in some ways. Now having to move on and go someplace else. In fact, for the Indianapolis Colts, it was probably really easy for them to move on from Peyton Manning because we didn't know if he was going to play again. It was almost easy to say, take a year off, get the surgery. We have to move forward. We're going to suck for a year, but we're going to try to rebuild. Are you okay? He said, fine, I'm good. I don't know if I can play again. Obviously, it worked out for him. He goes to Denver, sets a passing record, touchdown record, and then wins a Super Bowl the following year, even though he's a shell of himself that year. The Giants are in a much more difficult situation because I get the feeling that they don't want Eli to go anywhere else. They would rather Eli say, it's been a great career. I've been here for 15 years, won 2 Super Bowls, had some iconic moments. Yes, my record is right at 500 at 116. And I was joking with BT yesterday when I realized that. I mean, you said this last week, but yeah. I realized it because I saw it in print. Face of Eli, 116. And I joked with BT. I said, they should just start Daniel Jones now so he salvages 500.
Oh, I believe they were absolutely sensitive to that. There is no doubt in my mind that the Giants factored that in to their equation on some. How much, I don't know, but I guarantee they thought about that.
But in the big picture, no, I think they would rather Eli stay and be the vet mentor for Daniel Jones and a just-in-case quarterback should something happen this season and grow from there and let him walk out of this thing.
Yeah.
the way that they envision it.
Yeah, listen, no matter when they did this, no matter what the execution was, when they ripped off the Band-Aid, it was going to be tough.
Of course.
Guy's a two-time Super Bowl champion. Very well might have a statue outside of the new stadium. It's funny. Nationally, the perception of Eli is maybe I'll stop short of using the word radically different than how Giant fans perceive him. But it's very different. This is, and it's going to become this eventually, because our poll question is, do you think Eli's a Hall of Famer? And of course he's going to get in just based on the merit of the 2 championships and the 2 Super Bowls. And I hate to turn, and the MVPs, I don't want to turn this into a referendum on his career, because when you start to, which we will eventually, it's going to happen. When you do that, you start to denigrate unintentionally. That's part of the whole evaluation process. What he did well, what his shortcomings were. I think for self-preservation on some level, Pat Shurmur had to do this, because Pat Shurmur's probably, now I don't know if Pat Shurmur could coach. I honestly don't know. I've said to Tiki a few times, I don't think he's the right guy for the Giants. I'll either be proven right or I'll be proven wrong. But I do know this. He's probably using 25 to 30% of his playbook, because Eli is a statue. He can't move. So if I'm Pat Shurmur, I'm sitting there saying, yo, I didn't draft this guy. This guy didn't win me 2 championships. I got to get with somebody. I could roll out. I could do some naked boots. I could do some waggles. Any other football terminology that includes using your feet to get out of the pocket to try to create some offense and help Saquon Barkley is probably smart. Is he an all-time great player? The answer is clearly no. Is he an all-time great guy? The answer is clearly yes.
Yeah, I mean that's
a tough day for Giants fans.
It's tough, but expected, and that's what I'll keep coming back to. This isn't surprising to anyone. This isn't shocking to anyone. No, I agree. It's not, oh my God, look what the Giants did. No. Let's kill them for handling it. No,
they've been calling it for a year. Honestly, maybe more.
It happens. He's 37 years old. He's going to be 38. He's going to be 39 right at the end of this year. It happens in sport, and it's hard to come to grips with it, but look, Eli had a storied career here, and this is what the Giants and the Mara family and the Tisch family and Ernie Accorsi, this is what they envisioned. We're going to draft a kid who has the pedigree and the familiar, because of his family, acumen and brand to be a star. And if he gets really good, he'll be a hero. And he was, right? 07, 2011. He did the unthinkable. Nobody beats the Patriots. Well, the Eagles did too, but you know what I mean? Nobody beats the Patriots. Eli did. Obviously, a lot of it had to do with the defense. It was complementary football, as they like to talk about now. There was depth everywhere. It was a different era, but we talk about the quarterback. He was the Super Bowl MVP twice. He did exactly what he was brought to New York to do, and he did it with a grace and a humility, a comedic air that most people don't know. But if you talk to people who've been in locker rooms with him, he's like, oh, he's a clown. He messes around all the time. He makes it light. He makes it funny. There's like levity. He's a leader, not in the vocal sense. He's a leader in the fact that he makes it feel comfortable. And so they got what they wanted out of Eli. And it's just time to move on. Yeah. And that's okay. All right, some people will be sad about it. Some people will be angry about it. We'll start seeing columnists write stupid articles about how the Giants have lost their way.
Well, they have.
But sometimes, if you do, and if you want to position it that way, at some point.
Well, they're horrendous, and they've been horrendous for almost a decade.
At some point, you have to take steps to move back on the right path. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing, and you can have an opinion about it. You can be loud about
fact.
it. You can be upset about it.
It's not being loud. It's factual. The Giants stink.